So this video is a companion piece to my other video on how to build Freddy Fazbear out of Lego. So this one is specifically on how to paint Freddy Fazbear at minifig scale. So painting Lego pieces is a last resort. It only really is a good idea if there are things you just can't do using bricks. I try to avoid it as much as possible, but for some minifig scale customizations, painting is really the only way to achieve that effect. So these are the pieces we're going to be painting today. We've got a regular brown torso, a black minifigure head, and one of the Ice Bear head pieces from Legend of Chima. Here's a quick glimpse into what my painting setup looks like. First off, I've got this old piece of poster board that I use as my palette, so I put my paint down here and so I can easily access it as I'm painting. It also serves as a nice splatter zone so that I don't get paint on my nice table or pristine white surface I use for my how to builds. Then I have some old Lego pieces here that I already got paint on before, and so I don't care about getting more paint on. So when I am painting minifig pieces, I use this old painted minifig body. So I grab my piece that I'm painting today, stick it on top. So doing this allows me to move the piece around as I want to paint it, and then have a nice place for it to stand and dry, all without me having to touch the piece. Then I have a paintbrush. This one I'm going to be using a little bit of a larger brush since there's not a lot of detail work that needs to happen on this piece. And then for my paint, I actually use nail polish. I used to use acrylic paint, but I found that nail polish dries really quickly and it's easy to find in a variety of colors. And I like the way that it holds up on Lego. So you can use whatever paint you want to use. There's special paint for painting miniatures that you can find at game supply shops. There's acrylic paint, which you can find pretty much in any art supply store, or nail polish, which you can find in any sort of pharmacy like Walgreens or CVS. So I often take Lego pieces into Walgreens with me when I want to find the nail polish that's going to match up to the Lego color I want to use. So this is the one I use for brown and the one I kind of use for tan. I'm sorry, Ice Bear. Say goodbye to your face. My face, no. So for the first layer, I'm going to paint brown. You could also just use the brush that comes with the nail polish if you want. Especially for just a basic layer. That's going to work pretty well. So now the first coat has dried. We can still see some of the details from below, some of the white showing through. So now I'm going to do a second layer of paint / nail polish. Is what it actually is. Now that the head is nice and brown, I'm going to paint the snout a slightly lighter shade of brown or tan. Also going to add some definition to the ears by painting the inside this lighter color. Now I'm going to finish him off with some black to put on some eyebrows and a nose. Might actually use just a toothpick for this. Let's put a little dab of a nose up there. I need to get a new type of black nail polish. This one clumps up way too much. Now for a final touch, I'm going to add a white toothy grin to make him a creepy animatronic Freddy Fazbear. Now that we've given the head some time to dry, we're going to pull it off. I'm going to pull off this old painted head here. And we're going to put a plain black head on it, not too tightly, just enough to stay put. We're going to stick the Freddy Fazbear head on top, pushing that all the way down we want it to be. Now we're going to paint some eyes onto the head. So we're going to carefully take some white and make a little circle in the center of the eye sockets. And for the final touch, I'm going to give him some black pupils in the eyes. Well, he looks a little cross-eyed, but still pretty creepy and Freddy-esque. If you wanted, you could have outlined black around where that mouth is. Next, I will paint Freddy Fazbear's torso. I'm going to paint on a tummy and his bow tie. Since this will be more detailed, I've got a paintbrush and some toothpicks to work on the detail work. Because the paint I'm using is actually nail polish, to clean my paintbrushes in between colors, I use nail polish remover. You should get an adult to help you with that if you're going to use nail polish. Now that you've painted up your pieces and you've allowed them to dry, we're going to combine them all and make Freddy Fazbear. So we're going to connect the torso to the legs. Just found some random brown ones. I'm mixing old and new browns here. Connect some arms and hands. And then stick the head on top. Now you may be tempted to use the minifig scale top hat, but that's going to be way too big relative to Freddy's head, this scale. So instead I suggest using a 1x1 black tile and a 1x1 round plate in black. That'll make a tiny little top hat shape. And we're going to use a little tiny piece of putty and stick that on the bottom, and then stick that right in the center on top of his head. Now if you're really dedicated, you could use some glue and craggle that in place, but I think for our purposes just a little bit of putty is a nice solution. Now you've got your custom minifig scale Freddy Fazbear using a painted torso and Chima face.
Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave comments telling me what you want to see me build in the future. If you like this video, here are some other how to build videos you might enjoy.
That top hat is kind of way too big for his head. train wheel piece, I believe, might be a better fit for this size. Let's see. Slightly better. Still kind of too big.